I ain't much on Casanova. Me and Romeo ain't never been friends. Can't you see how much I really love you? Gonna sing it to you time and time again. And that was Shaad this episode. He thinking he a Casanova. What up, my good people? What up, though? I am your humble and most honorable real. Here to talk about that good, The Shy, Season 6, Episode 10, entitled, Want This Smoke. And this episode is brought to you by that good Jefferson's Reserve. I'm back on it. And Coke. Diet Coke, because I'm old. You know what I'm saying? Old school. Let's just get down to brass tacks, shall we? We start off with Trig, back in his political bag. His working man for the people bag, you know. Giving a speech, seemingly in front of folk that matter, speaking truth to power, speaking his truth, as only Trig could speak it. Talking about the community, choices, living with those choices, some made by you, some made for you, and some not. And the process of living with, dealing with the impact of those choices every day. It is a process. Proposes a mental health clinic, you know, for the community, to deal with that under-addressed issue in the black community. Sounds like a good idea. After he's done, Marcus tells him he looks like he found his voice. Should run for mayor someday. You know. Trig finishes there, goes and gets in his car to move on to the next thing in his day. Next appointment, maybe it's the end of the day. Sits for a second or two to catch his breath. But he got caught slipping. How Trig get caught slipping? Gets abducted by dudes in masks, kidnapped and slapped up inside of a van. When the masks come off, he finds himself up in Douda's garage. Douda's chop shop, tied to a chair. Now Douda just got one question, and he asks it while Bianca and some of his crew of minions look on. You know what the man want to know. Asks Trig if it was him who took a shot at him the other night, you know, tried to rock him to eternal sleep. Though tied up, Trig's still cocky as a mofo. Says if he did, this conversation wouldn't even be happening right now, player. Like, his little crew would be getting a harmony on. Thug style. Bone thug style. Boom, 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 boom. Now tell me what you gonna do. Cause his soul would have been with Q's at the damn crossroads. Now this is pleasing to Douda's ears. Cause truth be told, he likes Trig. You know, he got Trig to where he is now, trusts him, knows he's a soldier, in some ways may feel like Trig is still on his side, somewhat. Leans in a little too close to the man, though, through all the commotion. I mean, you still do have him tied up and kidnapped. Douda takes a headbutt to the grill. Bow! In kind, he returns the show of affection. Mollywops Trig eye like, bow! Left Trig eye in a sunken place. At some point, they let Trig up out of there. He pops up a little later at the men's group. Not in the circle. He ain't in no condition to talk. He might need a moment to himself. He not in a circle with the fellas, but he in the facility, in the room where Shaad, Marcus, Bakari, Jamal, and Quincy talking about supporting each other. It's a good little group. I like this men's group. They see Trig storm into the room in a huff. Marcus like, yo, bro, you good? Like, mofo, do you see his eye? Trig up in there looking like his eye closed for the season. He talking about, are you good? He peace up out of there. Later catches up with Shaad. They playing cards, getting a little rap. Tells Shaad that Douda want him to keep his mouth shut about their little disappearing act on cue. Let Shaad in on what just happened to him. Shaad tells Trig the truth about why he's on the outs with Deja. And that playing the field might be a good fit for him at this point in his life. Next thing we see, this fool up in the club like it's his birthday. He tried to party like it was his birthday, didn't he? Old Shaad. Hollered at every female he saw. Like this fool hadn't been out ever. Hell, if it blinked, he hollered. Found the grass wasn't greener on the other side, though. Wasn't no flirty. Wasn't no flirty little interactions either. Just straight business transaction with these women out in these streets. Got on his TI with this one chick up in the spot. Told her she could have whatever she liked. This chick had a drink on Shaad. Then went and put in a food order. Had the nerve to order on that's your side of the menu too. She ain't care. Now Shaad tried to direct her to the appetizer section, She ignored Shaad whole. Anything that had lobster in the name, she ordered it. Lobster bisque, lobster and steak, lobster martini. Waiter looked at him like, and you, sir? Now, Shaad, after realizing his little $100 was about gone, said he would have a ginger ale and eat a little bit off her plate, He trying to get to know Lil Boo. She just ate on the wrong side of the menu. They gonna get on do a little sherry share type thing. She like, I don't like to share. Ate her grub and pieced up out of there. Took all Shaad little money. And not a phone number was given. Wasn't no future in Shaad fronting. Just meeting the wrong type of chick while he's out and about this episode. Found him sleeping the night off in his mobile home. In his car outside of Darnell house. Darnell loading up Emmett's car with all his little rascals, Stymie, Alfalfa, Spanky. Emmett got them little rascals. How Alicia say, his black Brady Bunch. Darnell and Jada had just watched Emmett's kids so Kiesha and Emmett could have a night out. Seen Shaad sleeping in the car across the street. Talks to Jada about letting him stay with him, until he gets on his feet. Reluctantly, she agrees. Shortly after, Shaad and Darnell go work a job. Shaad started working with Darnell doing that handyman type stuff. Now they up in Alicia's spot. The job is at Alicia's crib. Alicia come up to Shaad like, did I hear you were in jail? He like, yeah. She on one, or she about to be. She like, my brother spent some time in jail. He like, okay. They get to talking. And Alicia is quite chatty at this time. I don't think I've ever seen Alicia so chatty. Find out that Shaad's banking practices involve rubber bands and a shoebox. Some of us still rock it like that. Tells him there's better ways of managing his money and that she can help. And that he should trust her to help him do so. Shaad like, I just met you. She tells Shaad, okay, so let's get to know each other, so you can learn to trust me. And then I can help you out. Now, this don't sound like the usual way of hitting on someone. Maybe that's just Alicia's way. He changed the subject. She started to walk away, I guess starting to think he ain't interested. I don't think Shaad knew what to make of it. Older woman, got money. If he was digging her, he might have thought he was potentially going to run into another Deja situation. She make all the money. He feeling some kind of way. But he knew his life needed some freshening up right about now. Told her, hold up. Hold up, older little boo. Tells her to give him a call if she needs anything. Digits are exchanged. Darnell smirking like, player. You trying to break out your screwdriver? I see you. But what I need is for you to hand me that wrench so we can tighten up and piece up out of here. Now back on the other side of town, Quincy talking to Trig. Tells him he gonna need to get his politics right. Trig is still kind of new to this. If he wants to build that center, that mental health clinic, he might need to modify his vote on defunding the police. Black caucus members want to contribute to his efforts. Might need him to change his vote on that, This is how politics works. Give a little to get a little. You might not get everything you want, but hey, you're going to get something if you're willing to give a little something. That's the way of the world. Now, Trig is struggling with this news, with this concept, and this change of position he might have to make. Welcome to politics. Welcome to public service. Later, the men's group catch up at a lounge bar type setup, minus Bakari. Shaad still talking about getting with chicks, lying to the fellas about why he not with Deja. Trig watching him lie with the good eye. Now, while Shaad loved his nights out with the fellas, outside of that, them other nights get a little lonely. Rolls up to Deja's spot after they finish doing what they doing in the club lounge spot with the fellas. Looked like he came up in there with some flowers from Target. She like, them old Walmart flowers ain't gonna fix this little player. Left Shaad holding the bag. At some point that night, he pops over to Alicia's spot. You know, he on his last threads. Brother been looking for love in all the wrong places. Thinks he might have found an unlikely spot. Knocks on the door. And if it isn't love, why does he feel this way? If it ain't love, a little lust might be on the menu. At this point, Shaad is ready, and I mean ready, for any interaction he can get. With his handyman bag in hand, knocks on Alicia's door. It was dark as hell when Shaad came around, too. He like, can I fix your locks? I can fix them up real good now if you want. I mean, I was in the neighborhood and all, you know. She like, it's kind of late, but you can take care of the locks in the morning, player. You can take care of this ass right now. I got some pipes that ain't made for Roto-Rooter, player. But they need unclogging nonetheless. He walk up in there, look like some loving about to go down for show. Trig, on the other hand, in that same time frame, leaving the men's group up in the bar lounge spot, not having the same type of night Shaad having or about to have. Because when he left the fellas, sometime later, Quincy popped over to his spot, introducing him to his new lawyer. Trig like, what I need a lawyer for? They take him to the spot where police have now found a car with Q's body in it and his prints all up in the car. Things might be about to catch up with Trig. You know, some of his choices. The choices he spoke about earlier when he was talking to the group of folks around the health clinic, the mental health clinic. His choices might be about to catch up with him. On the other side of town, Emmett and Kesha having a night off of drama. They get Jada and Darnell to watch all Emmett's Muppet babies and Kesha's. It's like a juvenile soccer team up in Jada and Darnell house. You know, when Grandma and Grandpa get to watching kids, they tell Emmett, you know, if something happened to you and Kesha, we got these kids. You know, they thinking about the potential consequences of Emmett's actions. Emmett ain't. He go out with Kesha. They get their little club on. Runs into Dante and his jump off for the night. Dante looking like he needed to be checked in all the ways. My man was staring at Kesha a little too long, like he was on one. Told Kesha she didn't look like nobody's mother. What Emmett do? Winds up hanging with him and his date, Candace, for a bit. That's cause Emmett a little silly. You look at me and my little boo like that. Ain't no way I'm hanging with your ass. Kesha talking to Dante's little boo for the night. You know, they get a little rap at some point. Kesha like, how long y'all been together? Candace like, oh, we ain't together. Dante don't believe in owning people. Now, I believe she believe in owning people. But she played it cool. Kiesha should have said, well, how much is your damn rental fee for the night then? Kandi showed Kiesha her DMs. She like, I got hundreds of cats trying to get at me. She sounded like Myra on Martin. I got men's waiting on me. Up in Shanae's shop, Emmett and Kesha up in that club getting worn the hell out, drinking, dancing. Decide to call it a night early. Leave Dante and his little boo up in that joint to party all night long. Party all the time. Get home where it's good, in front of a TV. Slip that good old-fashioned loving in. Emmett like, let me go get a condom. Kiesha like, we good. Just be careful. Trusting Emmett to be careful with anything, especially the pullout, is like trusting the hamburglar not to burgle ham. I mean, not to burgle hamburgers. Or like asking the Cookie Monster not to eat cookies. It's a good moment for them, though. Eventually, Emmett winds up at Tiff's spot next day. New spot Alicia put Tiff and Rob up in. He tells them he wants to buy Douda out, trying to figure a way out of this. Now, Douda done told him what he need to do. He's still trying to find another way. Wants to see if Alicia can give him money to buy out Douda. Buy his way out of it. Buy his way out of trying to kill him and then the servitude he signed up for. I don't know what Emmett thinking. Now, just as he says it, Alicia come in the door. Asks Emmett how much he need. Now, Emmett don't know because this is one of Emmett's half-cocked plans. She like, well, when you know, holla back. Meanwhile, Bianca having a minute with Douda. Out eating somewhere nice, just having a nice little dinner, some drinks. Now, I don't know if she was gassing him up or not, but she was giving him all the props, talking about celebrating him. He like, for what? Why would anybody want to celebrate me? She like, you put good into the world, He like, yeah, good work for the grave diggers, the funeral parlors. Now, while she propping him up, he on the phone, up in Tracey DMs, hoping to prop up Tracey legs in the near future. He out with Bianca, but he thinking about Tracey. She trying to get him out her DM too. She like, please leave me be. Please. Douda ain't feeling none of that. Still got a little sweet tooth for Tracey. Now on the other side of town, Jake trying to take his business to the next level. Got cameras flashing up in his spot, models posing. Wearing his clothes for the social media advertisement campaign he about to be on. Guess who up in there though? Kenya. Poppa's not quite ex. Guess Kenya gotta keep them bills paid, cause she had to leave Smokies abruptly after her fling with the manager went awry. Jake's surprised to see her. They chat very briefly. Meanwhile, up in the studio across town, Jemma and Brittany working on some music. More like just Jemma, really. She trying to talk to Brittany about the music, some edits. Brittany trying to talk to the little shorty on her lap at the moment. Jemma like, are you listening to me? She like, I'm trying not to. You see little boo on my lap. Jemma like, hold up. You need to be taking this serious. Like, the music is good, but it could be a little better. Brittany like, man, I pay you to book me sessions and make sure the music sound good. You know, the engineer doing his job to my liking, not get on my nerves. I don't pay you for that. And you starting to get on my last good nerve. Jemma like, okay, session over. Tell the engineer that's a wrap. She bring that energy back to the crib where Jake is still on his phone looking at chicks modeling his wear. Jemma get a peek at the phone, you know, after the head wrap gets put on. Sees a pic of Kenya. Gets a little jealous. She like, I could have modeled for you. You know. He like, please, you too busy with your girl Brittany. She start to nag him a little bit and he cuts it short. He like, I ain't got no time for this. Hops his in the bed, cut the lights out. They both go to bed. They both go to that cold, cold bed. Meanwhile, Lene getting her college experience on. And good for Lene. She in class, and she digging that class. Catches up with Bakari later that evening. She like, this learning is good. This higher learning is the bomb. You should come to my class. She like, I could talk to my teacher. Did Bakari graduate high school though? I mean, maybe he did, I just don't remember. I don't recall offhand. I know he was up at the prom and the dance and all that, but did the brother graduate? I can't recall. He like, I can't think about no classes right now. I gotta make this drop. She press him a little bit. She like, you should think about it. He like, all right, for you, little boo, I'ma think about it. Eventually slips into class with her the next day. Enjoys what he sees, what he hears. After the lecture, they run into the professor. Professor asks Bakari if he's a new student. They have a little chat. Says he can't let them do that again after finding out he is not a new student. But that he could tutor him. You know, he might be down for that. Gives Bakari an appointment time for the session later that day, which Bakari makes it late to. Now the professor ain't feeling this at all. Tells him the offer is off the table. Bakari apologizes profusely. Tells him he really needs this. Convinces the professor to take him on. And he does. They get to know each other a little. Starts off by asking Bakari his story. Meanwhile, Rob hobbling around somewhere in a garage. You know, he could barely move. Looking like he ready to be somebody victim. Got his wish. Nuck rolled up on him, pulled the gat out. But Nuck was on that chat. Rob like, mofo, just do it already. Nuck like, what, you ain't scared? Nuck get to sniffing around. Because, you know, Rob was toking a little bit. He like, what you smoking on? This you and Tiff stuff? Let me get a cut of y'all sales. And I'll let you live. Rob like, bet. Douda crew is the most chattiest bunch of gun-toting but don't bust so-called thugs I done ever seen on a TV screen, a TV show. This the Let's Make a Deal crew. Deal or no deal. When Douda crew run up on you, it's deal or no deal. Hell, it's supposed to be on site with Rob and Emmett. That's what Douda said. For trying to take his life. He put the edict out. Find Rob. Find Emmett. Pop Rob. Pop Emmett. Rob and Emmett were both A, found, B, talked to like normal civilians, not wanted enemies, C, not shot at upon finding, D, propositioned and all of that. I guess we should be so thankful that there's a new breed of sweeter thug. More compassionate. You need a man with sensitivity. Douda and Rob walking around like it's all sweet. I guess 'cause it is.